And for those who haven't joined any webinar of our webinars before, we really like to make these, really a discussion and get people's feedback and questions in. So you'll see the chat there as well. I've also incorporated the in the chat right now the YouTube link. So if there's anyone in your networks who can't join, or it's easier to join via YouTube, can use the link here as well. So we're just going to get started in just a few minutes. So thank you those who've joined early, and start shortly. Thanks for your patience. So for those who have just joined, thank you so much. We'll be starting in just a few minutes, in 2 minutes, 3 minutes past the hour. Thank you very much, and we'll be starting just now. Thank you for the messages. Welcome, Paul, from London, Florence from London as well. And I see we have Jamal from Accra. It's a pleasure to have you all here, and we're starting in just a few minutes. There's a few more people have joined, so thanks everyone who's just joined. We'll be starting in just 1 minute, so just hang tight, and we look forward to having you here with us for this webinar. Great, welcome Idris, Damilola, great to have you. We'll kick off. I think people are still joining, but we'll get started now with those who have joined. So it's a pleasure to welcome you to our webinar on property in New Lagos and investment opportunities in the growing areas in Lekki. We have with us today Oluremi Oshinkalu, who is the founder and MD of IFT Realty Development, and we'll be joined shortly by a partner at Chancery, Strand, and Leon Associates as well, to provide some legal opinions and answer any questions on the legal side as well when it comes to buying property, and also buying property in a newly developed area. So one thing we'll be talking about is the opportunities in this new part of Lagos, why people should invest, where the investment is going over the next few years, and why what Remy is doing at Shalom Park Estates is in a very exciting master plan city. So thank you all for joining. And the kickoff, we're going to I'm just going to speak a little bit about what we do at Sesso Global for those who are not aware. Sesso Global, this new part of Lagos, why people should invest, where the investment is going over the next few years, and why Remy is doing at Shalom Park Estates is in a very exciting master plan city. So thank you all for joining. And the kickoff, we're going to I'm just going to speak a little bit about what we do at Sesso Global for those who are not aware. Sesso Global, this new part of Lagos, why people should invest, where the investment is going over the next few years, and why Remy is doing at Shalom Park Estates. Sorry, closing the YouTube windows. One second. Sorry about this. Oh, wow. Very sorry about that. It opened up the YouTube window. So very sorry about that. All right, great. So now we're ready to kick off. We got a double intro there. And so thank you all for the patience. And we're ready. So just as a background of what we do at Sesso Global is a UK registered company. We've been in operation since early 2018. We are building Africa's trusted property marketplace. And our goal is to provide easy access to fully verified, high quality developments where people can be assured that these properties have been verified, they have proper title, they've been built by developers who have key experience in the industry, that if you're buying off plan, the projects will be delivered, and that the developers themselves have a key experience delivering projects. And that's why we're, it's an honor and a pleasure to have Remy with us today, who has not only executed successful projects in Nigeria, but also in Atlanta, in Nigeria. And we'll hear more about what he's doing and really how he's bringing that expertise from abroad into Nigeria. Because what we like to say at Sesso Global is that we know buying property in Nigeria, in Ghana, and Africa as a whole can be difficult, and there's been a lot of scams. People have had bad experiences, but the truth is as well that there's amazing developers in the country, in Lagos, building these great projects that have the opportunity to provide great returns, great homes to live in, retirement, investments, and all beyond. So with Sesso Global, we don't just provide properties and access to the individual properties. We partner with the country's largest and most reputable law firms, such as ACAS, Udo Domo Belosagi, our new partner here today, Chancery Strand and Lyon, lawyers as well that can help with the post-sale services, because we know buying a property doesn't just start with finding it and end with making the payment. They're still getting the land title. They're still doing the proper registration. If you want investment, you might need to find a property manager. So at Sesso Global, we'll provide you with all of these key details, so you can search the property, book a tour, and close the deal. Want to just touch on the site as well and a bit, how it works. So Sesso Global is both a web app and a mobile app. You can download the Sesso app on Android and iOS. You can come to our website here at sesso.global and browse properties and all of our operating countries, Ghana, Nigeria, and a few now properties in South Africa. You can view the properties on available. So we see here at the top at Shalom Park Estates. So you can get key insights into the property details. As we mentioned before, if you need additional post-sale service, you can hire a law firm or a service that we can provide for you as well. We have now established several mortgage partners also that are looking for mortgage rates as well. But the mortgage product, it's coming along slowly but surely. And another exciting thing is that there will be further opportunities for mortgages for diaspora, especially by the close of the year. A key aspect, just to note, the work that we do to ensure that the properties are verified and well managed. We have our custom in-house built, we call it the Propo S. It's a real estate management platform where we use that when any property goes live on our marketplace, we ensure that we digitize and upload their documentation, their company registration, and really are able to make sure we have all the documents there and verified before they're offered to you, the clients, and are able to go in on that in on the purchase. We also offer virtual tours. So for those I see on the chat, we thank everyone for joining from the UK, from Ireland, from the US, that if you're not able to do your initial tour from abroad, CESO Global will assist you with that through our virtual tour process. So we can have a team member go to the site, get you on a Zoom call or a digital call, and that way you can see the property yourself before coming out for the visit. So thank you very much for joining today, and we're very excited to have you and present to you the opportunities in New Lagos. So without further ado, that's some aspects of what we're doing here at CESO. So it's a pleasure to introduce our panelists, and we're going to show you a little bit about the developments that we're speaking about today, which is at Shalom Park Estate. So I'd like to first introduce Oluremi Ashinkalu, and so thank you, Remy, very much for joining today. And as we play a little bit about the video and they can see our properties, we'd love for you to give an introduction. I know you have a background in law, and tell us a bit about your experience, your background, and how you came to starting to build this fantastic estate, Shalom Park.
Okay, great, wonderful. Thank you so much, Daniel. I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear. Daniel, if you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. And okay, I'm good to go. Thank you for the intro. It's wonderful to partner with CESO Global. And when Daniel did the introduction, one of the things he's talked about was due diligence. And I'm sure the attorney will also speak to that. One of the things that CESO Global did before we came on board, we checked them out and they checked us out. And they looked and verified that we're legitimate and that all our paperwork is in order. But when we have questions, we'll be able to address those issues. So this is really important because I know we are speaking a lot to the Nigerians in diaspora. And a lot of people have had their fingers burnt by going in the wrong direction. But to talk about myself very briefly, my name is Oluremi Ashinkalu. I was born in Nigeria. I grew up in Ibadan. And I went to school in Ibadan, Nigeria. I later went to Ogun State University, which is now Olabisi Onabanjo University. I graduated there in law. And I also went to the Nigerian Law School in Victoria Island, Lagos. I was called to the bar in 1992, and I was called to the US bar, or I was admitted to practice in the US in 2009, I believe. It's been a long time now. But I practiced law here in the US for about 15 years, and I did mainly real estate law, where I represented banks, I represented buyers, represented sellers. I defended clients in foreclosure actions. So I have a 360-degree understanding of real estate law. I later started going into real estate property development in New York. And I built a few houses in New York, in Queens in particular. And our biggest project was a 100-unit project in Atlanta, Georgia, called Metropolitan Gardens. And that project, we actually sold it last year in the middle of the pandemic. And that was a good project. So in terms of Lagos, I went to Lagos and I discovered that properties are really expensive, and the kind of properties that we need to build in Lagos, in certain neighborhoods, there are a lot of developers and developments that are ongoing. But I always took issue with the finish of the job, the minimum standards that people that live abroad or international standards are not being met. For example, in the video that I did with Steve, you see that, people have stairs where there's no headroom. People have stairs that are not even. People are building houses where you have to sort of climb to go in. So a lot of these issues that we see, we decided to address. And when we say affordable, we mean cheap. We just mean that you're getting the quality of what you want at the most affordable price. And so that is how we went to Lagos, acquired some land, and over the years, Shalom Park has been brought to life. So I don't want to talk too much. So I'm going to stop there, and since it's just a brief intro. Thank you.
Great, that's perfect. So thanks so much, Remy. And we're going to get more into the estate as we get going, talking about, why Abijo, how you built the area, some of the aspects around building for solving for things, as you said, that are important that people are not looking around, like green space and, internal infrastructure as well. So before we jump in, I see there's already a few questions. So thank you, Noel. And I'll just note that please continue to ask your questions in the Q&A or in the chat bot. And as we progress during the webinar, we'll deliver to answer all of your questions. So I'd like to introduce Emmanuel from Chantry, Strand and Leone, a law firm with representation in both the UK and in Nigeria. Welcome, Emmanuel. So just as a brief introduction, Emmanuel, can you tell us a bit about your law firm and what your specialty is? And, and also maybe touch on why it's important to have a lawyer when doing a real estate transaction.
All right, thank you, Daniel. Thank you once again for having us around. Mr. Charles Adeyemi is unavoidably absent for some reasons beyond his control, and he would have loved to be here, but then circumstances made it impossible for him to be here. But then he extends his greetings, his one wishes to CESO Global and then every one of you out there for the good work you are doing, and then of course for the invitation to Chancery Strand and Leone Associates. So thank you so much. So Chancery Strand and Leone Associates, we are basically a law firm specializing in corporate law practice and property law practice in Lagos State. So over the years, we have been into various property law transactions in Lagos, trying to assist clients, investors of different dimensions, various forms of clients from foreign investors and all that, trying to help them establish businesses here, buy real estate properties in Nigeria, in Lagos especially. So over the years, we have been assisting them in the areas of contract drafting, perfection of titles, resolution of disputes, and several other forms of legal duties that they require from time to time. And we have been doing this marvelously over the years. So with respect to Lagos, we have some clients. We have worked with some clients in the course of time to develop properties, to buy properties, especially in the Lagos Island region where we work from, to assist clients in getting properties and all that. So there's this, we have worked on several other properties, especially with respect to acquisitions. I don't know if you can hear me clearly, Daniel.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so we have this particular one now, which is we're assisting in a multi-million acquisition of a property worth over $150 million to these clients in the Ajah region of Lagos State. Now, all we are trying to do here is to ensure that clients get value for their money. I don't know if you're with me, Daniel.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
All right. So so that is basically what we have been doing over the years, and then we have been delivering efficiently. All right, I'm done from me.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And so, so we're gonna now speak a little bit more about the estate and what Remy is building. And so, we want to discuss the opportunities here at Shalom Park Estate and what is being built. So I'm gonna, as I play, would like to ask Remy, a few questions. So if you see here, the estate offers both 5-bed fully detached, 4-bed semi-detached, and then the building 2-bed condominiums, and also we can see here the 2-bed bungalow as well. So Remy, can you tell us a bit about why you chose Abidjo as a location, and a bit about what is happening and what you've seen happen over the years in this area in Lagos?
Oh, thank you so much again. Yes, the title is The Rise of the New Lagos, and this is real. One of the things that I talk to, because I've lived in diaspora for about 20 years now, so I have the diaspora mindset. I understand what people in diaspora are thinking, what they're talking about, their fears, their concerns. And Lagos, as we know it, is probably the largest, it is the largest city, mega city in Africa, one of the largest mega cities in the world. The last population of Lagos was about 18 million people. That's bigger than a lot of countries. So Lagos is choked up. We started in Marina. Marina was downtown Lagos, and then people used to live in Victoria Island and Ikoyi. Victoria Island has become downtown Lagos because Victoria Island is almost 100% commercial. And then we moved to Lekki Phase 1. Lekki Phase 1, 2 now is becoming commercialized. And so the country, or Lagos, moved into what we call gated communities, where you start building strictly well-planned residential communities and picking up the slack that the government was not able to provide. 24 hours power supply, 24 hours water supply, proper drainage, proper sanitary disposal of waste, security. So these are the 5 heads that everybody wants to be able to have in a society. And since we're not able to get it in the larger society, we started having those developments like Chevron Estate and other developments like that. So as Lagos began to move, the governor of Lagos State at that time started what they call the Lagos Master Plan. And this master plan redesigned Lagos. Old Lagos is already choked up, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's very limited what you can do. But there's the new Lagos, which is the Lekki-Epe axis. A lot of people living in diaspora may not fully understand what we're talking about, but once you pass Victoria Island, you get to Lekki Phase 1. From Lekki Phase 1, you get to what we call Chevron. From Chevron, you get to Victoria Garden City. Moving out from that axis all the way to Ekpe, and Ekpe takes you to Ijebu, is what we call the new Lagos. And the plan is to lay it out and sort things out the best way. So why I went to Abidjo is that Abidjo was the place, number one, where I could afford to buy land at that time. And it is further away from Victoria Island. It's past Abraham Adesonia, it's past Ajah, and a little after a place we call Shongotedo in Lagos. But it is so central, and this is the key point. It is so central to New Lagos, because people always say, oh, is that not far? The question is, far from where? You see, it's not, because you are no longer dealing with Victoria Island and Lagos. Dangote Refinery is the biggest refinery in Africa. You can Google it. And Dangote, of course, we know is the richest black man on the face of the earth, but he built the biggest refinery in Africa, 19 billion US dollars. And we are afraid of investing money in Nigeria because we all look at the problems that we hear about in Nigeria instead of looking at the potential. If someone could invest $19 billion in an area, you should be concerned and you should pay attention. Now, we are at Abidjo, and just about 40 minutes after us, not before us, is this $19 billion refinery that is coming on stream this year. Secondly, there's a Lekki Free Trade Zone that the refinery is in. That Lekki Free Trade Zone also incorporates the Lekki Deep Sea Port, which they've started to build. And after us again is the Lekki International Airport. People say, oh, they're never going to build it. Yes, they are. Because they've already evicted all the people that are there. My friend actually owned a farm in the location where the Lekki International Airport is. And they've already compensated them and moved them. They've started clearing the place. There are regional roads in place. If you go past us towards Ekpe, again, you can Google all these things, go on YouTube and type out Dangote Refinery, Lekki Deep Sea Port, go in and type out Ekpe and the roads there. They are opening up Ekpe. They built roads that open Ekpe to the east. So from Lagos now to Ijebu, to Benin, and to the eastern part of Nigeria, the time has been cut in half. This indeed is the rise of the new Lagos. And this is why we anticipated this. We saw the master plan. We projected that these things will be done while others were complaining about what is not being done. We decided to look forward. And that's how we got to where we are today with Shalom Park Estate. We started investing far back in 2004. And, that's the story of how we got there.
That's great. Thanks, Remy. And I think that really spoke a lot of great interest and knowledge to, I think, our panel here. And I think it's a great point that when we ask, people are saying, this is far. It comes down to far from what? Because Lagos is expanding rapidly. There's new commercial areas, new areas where people want to live, where they work, and so. It's very exciting times, and I think that's one reason why we've seen land values go up so fast in Abijo and around these areas. So one thing you mentioned on, which I'd love for you to maybe talk a little bit more of, and then we'd be great to get Emmanuel's thoughts as well, is that really around this aspect of master planning. So I think a lot of people have perspective sometimes that the government really does not have a plan, or that people are just building wherever, and that and then additionally that if you buy a place, no matter where it is, no matter if Remy has experience in the US, no matter what, they can still get evicted or the estate torn down. But I think there is this really key aspect that there is a master plan for the city, and that certain estates do get approved into the master plan, which is Shalom Park is one of those. So Remy, could you tell us a bit like what that means? What is the master plan? Who is in charge of it? What does it mean to be registered with the master plan? And then, Emmanuel, maybe after Remy, you can touch in on the legal aspect. Why would you want to buy from a place that is pre-registered, with the state government? So Remy, can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's a fantastic question. Again, it comes down to the challenge of information. When you are in diaspora, it seems to me that all the information we get about Nigeria is negative information. And this is wrong. I live in the US, and there's a lot of negative news in the US where people are being killed, where people are there, school shootings, but that's not the narrative that we believe about the US. We believe the US to be the greatest nation on the face of the earth. So we have to start talking up our country. And we have to believe in our country. Nobody's going to fix Nigeria for us. We are the ones that must invest in Lagos, and we are the ones. So let's go to the main question. So Lagos State, believe it or not, are actually the most advanced state in Nigeria. They have the building departments, they have town planning, they have all these other departments. And I'll point out something real quick. Before you buy land in Nigeria, get a lawyer. I'm telling you, get an attorney. Don't try and do it through your cousin, friend, sister, brother, or half brother. Because there are many people that have purchased land in Nigeria. They bought lands, even in estates. And later on, these buildings are going to be torn down. There's a mega city master plan that Tinubu's government put in place over 20 years ago. That mega city master plan is with the Ministry of Urban Development and Town Planning, and they also have a new towns development agency in Lagos. When you want to build an estate, you have to get a town planner. We got a company called Cityscape Mr. Niyi Odetoye of blessed memory, is one of the foremost town planners in Nigeria. And they charted our survey with the survey department, number one, to make sure that it is free from government acquisition and it is excision land. That you have to do that. You have to go to a lawyer. Then you have to put together a master plan. And then they will chart that master plan together with the Lagos mega city plan. I'm going to show you this thing that's on my wall right now. This is the Shalom Estate master plan. This road right here is called a regional road. When we bought all our land, we got the certificate of occupancy, but when we now took it to the government to get the layout, this is a layout approval. This is the green area. This is the commercial area. This is the green area here. All these things are laid out. They discovered that there's a regional road that splits Shalom Park into two. If we just went and we did not do our due diligence, we would have built houses here. And I can tell you, along this regional road, there are thousands of houses that are going to be demolished outside Shalom Park because we are not building there, because we've made the allowance in our approved master plan. And so when people talk about expenses and cheap and cost, it is more expensive for you to be ignorant. It's more expensive for you to go buy a land for 4 million and you are comparing it with somebody else that wants to sell a land for 20 million and you think it's cheap. It's not cheap, because after you buy the 4 million land, the Omoniles will come, you battle them for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It will cost you 8 million. And then after you build your 80 million naira house, you are so happy that you got a cheap land and you got a cheap house. Number one, you may not have a soil test done. Number two, you may not do piling, you may do raft. Forget about the fact that the house may collapse. But the more dangerous part of it is Lagos State could come and demolish the land, the house. And then people start crying, but there's no basis for it because you didn't do the due diligence. And so the developers that do the due diligence, it racks up our cost. You pay your town planner about 15 million naira. You pay the survey department about 14 million naira for the survey layout. You pay Lagos State, you pay this, you pay, but we pay for you to have a peace of mind. And this is why this webinar is so important. It's not marketing. I'm not interested in marketing. I'm interested in educating us so that even if you don't buy from Shalom, you don't burn your fingers, because you know all of us abroad, we work hard for this money and you don't want to lose that money. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Remy. And I think that really, opens, as you said, it's an educational piece that, there needs to be, you said, more, people, kind of awareness of, what to buy, what are the costs, and so that the cost that maybe someone gives you at the beginning is not the actual, full cost at the end, especially not if you lose the property all outright. And so looking at, where, the master plan is, buying in a place that has actually done all their due diligence, because sometimes, right, you go to take your C of O to Lagos State government and they say it's a non registerable land in itself. I was gonna have a manual, but I think he's having some networks issues, so why he's off. Where I think maybe just touch on there's a question. I know you answered it there, but just so everyone can see it as well. There's a question on, are the properties freehold or leasehold? And maybe just touch on that. And also for those who don't know, because I know we have some people who are not from Nigeria who are on the webinar, is that what does freehold mean in terms of Nigeria, and how does that work, legally?
Okay, thank you again. Nigeria, I'm putting on my lawyer hat now. Nigeria is a Commonwealth country and we're governed by common law. And so our laws we derived our laws from the UK. So our laws are pretty similar. But in terms of land ownership, there was the Land Use Act in 1978, which the state government, they vested all lands in the governor. And so what the governors did was they could now issue what they call a certificate of occupancy. This is really important. People love that word, CO. But the certificate of occupancy usually is a 99-year lease. People don't know this. The government is leasing you that land for 99 years. And after 99 years, you may have to renew it or it will revert back to the government. And they know that if you bought the land when you were 20 years old, you will be dead in 99 years, most likely. So that's what it is. Most people are buying the remainder lease. They don't know this. When you buy a property that has a CO, you go and sit down. A lot of lawyers don't even understand this. You may only have 20 years left on your certificate of occupancy. Go read it. Look at the wording of the certificate of occupancy. So now, of course, the government will most likely give you another term of 99 years and you will pay a fee that's not too high. But now when people were upset with the government regarding this issue of all the land is vested in the state governor, then they started doing what we call excision. Excision means that the state government, the original aboriginal communities could go and appeal to the state government and say, what you are doing is not fair. You took our ancestral lands. So the government will excise. That means they will carve out a section of the land and say, we are giving it back to the original owners. So when they give that land back to the original owners through excision, which has to be gazetted, then you can get a deed of assignment. That's what we know. And then, but when you do a deed of assignment, which is a transaction between two parties, a legal transaction of land, you now take it to the government. And when you take it to the governor now consents. That's what we call governor's consent. The governor now consents to your transaction. Now, if the governor consents to your transaction, the ownership interest in that land is now freehold, superior to the governor's to the certificate of occupancy. That means you own it for eternity. Whereas with the certificate of occupancy, you have a lease of 99 years, or whatever is the remainder of the 99 years, which you have to go back to the governor to renew in future. So for Shalom Park Estate, we have an excision. The family in Abidjan went to the government and they got that land excised. We have 10 acres. They had like 10 hectares excised. And then we went to the governor after we got this deed of assignment and we got a governor's consent. So now, in terms of the law, we actually own a freehold land because we have the governor's consent on this land. And that's the best title you could ever. Please don't mistake, I'm not saying that the governor's consent is not good title. It's great title, but there's a term. But with our land, it's freehold, it's owned in perpetuity, there's no term. And that's what it is.
Excellent. So very, very interesting, and another great opportunity there, which I'm sure a lot of people are not aware of that. And I think, going into the future, if you're buying as an investment piece, you want to make sure you can pass this down to future generations. There's not issues doing the renewal with the future governor or the price becomes too much. Emmanuel, are you here? Are you still with us? I think
having issues here. I'm trying to connect back.
Okay. I think we can hear you. You made me want to just chime in on that. We're just saying, as you advising clients, why is it important to buy from a property, from a development that's part of the government master plan? And how do you advise clients to do that due diligence and ensure that they're buying a legitimate property? Okay, Emmanuel, I think we'll just come back to you. But when the connection comes back. But I have a few more questions. So thank you very much for explaining that, Remy. I think that's a sticking point, that people definitely need more clarity on, and it really helps kind of, potentially looking at why one should buy. So a great question from Idris. Thank you, Idris, for your question. So your first question, I have a few questions, so thanks so much for these multiple questions, Idris, is are mortgage companies willing to work with diaspora Nigerian slash Africans? Can one get a longer term mortgage? So, that's something that's actively being worked on in the Nigerian market. I even see we're blessed to have with us on the call TK Olatinwo from the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company, which is one of the organizations you can look up, part of the ministry working with the Ministry of Finance to make mortgages more affordable in the country. It's a refinancing for banks. Right now, we know the mortgage industry is very nascent. NMRC is also working with state governments to sign in foreclosure laws. Several states like Ogun State and Kaduna have already signed these laws. I know Lagos has a similar aspect they're looking at as well to make it easier for banks to foreclose, give them more confidence for lending. Sesso Global ourselves are working on several mortgage solutions. One will be a specific diaspora mortgage product. We're working with one of the oldest insurance firms in Nigeria, established in 1957, to bring in a new underwriting process for banks that allows them to more easily get to lend to clients that are based abroad. So what I would say is on 2 points is that there's many people working on this solution, and we're very confident that over the next few years, mortgages will become more accessible, especially in the terms of 10 to 15 years to start with before they extend out to 20 to 30 years. And another aspect we always look at that, there's another reason to get into the market now, because as it gets easier to buy, right, what it's going to do is also increase demand in the market. And we already see prices in Lagos rising at a huge rate, mainly because of the inflow of people from other states into Lagos. So I think a lot of people are working to solve these solutions. Shalom is already offering several solutions that make it easier for payments. This in regards to payment plans. And I think Remy is an American that has looked at options with clients to take borrowing from their properties in America to buy in Nigeria. So Remy, would you mind just talking a bit about the payment plans at Shalom Park? And then also just yourself as a diaspora, how an American could potentially leverage their credit in America or in the UK, as we have several people in the UK on the call, to buy back in Nigeria.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks again, Daniel. Just to answer the first question that you had asked, Emmanuel, but we're having challenges. The way you avoid being scammed and getting into trouble is get a company like, and I'm not doing a promo, I'm just telling you the truth, get a company like Sesso Global. First and foremost, you need to work with a company that knows what they're doing, that has the integrity, will do the due diligence, and will walk you. And of course, Sesso Global also works with attorneys like, the Chancery, Strand, and Lion Associates. So you have to work with them. And then, of course, you have to go with developers that, are legitimate, are doing the right thing. And you can get all this by starting from the source and going with a real estate consultant like Sesso Global that will lead you and will not lead you astray. In terms of financing, what we are doing at Shalom Park Estate, we're not a mortgage institution. We've invested so much money. Let me tell you some of the challenges we have. When we bought our land, there was no road to our land. We spent about 10 million naira of our own money just sand filling to get access to our land. When we got to our land, we had to sand fill to do a perimeter fence. We had to bring electricity. All the poles that you see that go towards us, that everybody's benefiting from today, we put it there. These are expenses. We don't have the support of the government. Then we put in our own transformer. And then we start to sand fill the internal roads. And then we put in drainage. And then we build houses. And then we try and sell. So when people keep telling me that, but these prices are high, it's either somebody is going to cheat you and build something that is going to collapse, or they will just build and put a reasonable margin of profit because it's not a charity. So what we are doing to help in this situation, because like Daniel said, there's a vacuum, there's a mortgage vacuum in Nigeria. And so what we're doing is we're giving 25% down payment with a 2-year payment plan. That means if you want to buy a house from us, let's say the house for easy math is 100 million. If you pay 25 million and you work out a plan to pay off the 75 million in 2 years, we will, you'll be able to buy your house. And let me tell you the advantage in that. The 100 million naira house that you key in today, by the time the house is delivered to you in 24 months and you have collected and you've paid in full, that house, I guarantee you, will be worth either 125 million, 145 million, or 150 million. This is not because we're trying to market. Even in the US and in the UK, if you are building a development, like a subdivision that has 100 houses, the first 20 houses go with the introductory price. That introductory price is actually a loss. I'm repeating it. It's a loss to the developers because the developer is just trying to sell at all costs to start the estate up. But by the time they complete the first set and deliver them, the next set of houses will go up a minimum of 10%. And by the time you build the 100th house, it's going to be maybe 25%. So you are getting inbuilt equity and you're getting inbuilt capital appreciation. So what I advise people in diaspora, don't complain about the fact that you can't get a mortgage in Nigeria. If you already own a home in the US or in the UK or in Canada, go to your house and use your house as your new mortgage bank. If you can take out equity from your house, let's say you own a $400,000 house, but you owe $200,000 mortgage. If you can pull out $150,000 or $100,000 and you put it towards your purchase in Nigeria, number one, you are getting a wonderful interest rate. In the US today, you can get as low as 3.54%. In Nigeria, your interest rate may be 30%, give or take 25%. That's a lot of money. So the advantage you have living abroad is what you must use. If you can't take out a loan from your mortgage, like a home equity line of credit, then you may be able to take a personal loan, or you may be able to take a personal line of credit. And as long as you know you have the income to sustain it and you are able to qualify, these are the options that I'm saying that you should take. But on our part, what we have done is that we give payment, not a mortgage, because we don't have the capacity to give mortgages. And I'm very excited that Daniel and Cecil Global are going to be working with mortgage banks, but we can't solve the mortgage problem. We are solving the housing problem. Anybody that wants to buy from us, they need to look for a financing solution. And we've given the best we can, which is 25% down. You spread the balance over 2 years. I've got a lot of feedback now from people saying, can you spread it over 3 years? We will consider that. But as of now, it is 25% down, spread the balance over 2 years. I don't think you can get a better deal. And that's zero interest. You can't get it better.
Exactly. And as prices keep growing, and I think one thing to look at it, especially if you're borrowing from abroad, you have the low interest rates in America, UK, but also the fast growing rates of property in Nigeria. So, one reason why people, of course, like investing in emerging markets, even though there's higher risk, of course, in general, you're getting higher returns. So, there's been studies done even with the depreciation of Naira, land prices in Nigeria have increased around 10x over the past 20 years. CESO as well, just to note, is launching a partnership with Estate Intel. If anyone would like to check out their site as well, Estate Intel does market analysis on different regions in Lagos. So you can look at the average price of a property in each area. You can look at the growth rates over the past 5 years and timelines as well. And one thing we can send out further details, and we'll be sending out this recording in the follow-up, but people can also use that to investigate and see for yourselves how fast the market is growing, both in terms of land price and in rental yields as well. Just a couple questions. A couple quick ones. I'll just knock out real quick. That for the person who joined late, the what we like to do with our webinars is to highlight different great areas of investment opportunities. Today, we're talking about new Lagos and the growth of Lekki and Lagos. We will do webinars, and we do in the future, on other cities like Accra, other areas outside of Lagos, which we'll look at into the future. But really, we're looking at, we think we want to provide our audience and our network with the best investment opportunities, those that are the most secure and that will grow the fastest. And we would say one of the best opportunities in Africa, and maybe even one of the fastest growing real estate markets in the world, is Lagos, especially in these the new areas in Lekki. I would also encourage everyone even to watch a recent video that Al Jazeera did during the lockdown that said that the property markets in Lagos and Abuja have defined global norms of increasing value during the pandemic and increasing demand. So very excited to see that what was one area of the market that, if anything, grew during the pandemic, which was very interesting to see. Another question is that I think it's just a general question around buying property. Is that Remy, can LLCs buy properties at Shalom? Is that an option? Can someone buy a property through a company, and does it have the same process as buying as an individual?
I honestly, I'm going to defer that to the lawyer on ground because, I graduated in Nigeria in 1992. I don't know what the current state of the real estate laws are regarding ownership. So maybe...
Emmanuel, is your connection working? Are you able to give us some insight there? Is there a difference between buying a property as an individual or as a LLC as a company?
No. There are not much impediments in that regard. LOCs and of course individuals are always available to buy. The legal frameworks do not place any impediments in that regard. However, for over the years, we have noticed that private individuals seeking to buy properties usually encounter problems leading to finance. But from our experience, we have always been advising them to go for forms of partnerships so as to aid them in that regard, so as to aid them to acquire properties, notwithstanding the challenges they face in that regard. And then we have, over the years, also tried to compile a register. Are you with me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So we also tried to compile a register of such partners, such investors who are having challenges, such that we are able to link one or two investors together to be able to purchase properties from us, and then we are also able to connect them to such other persons who have similar challenges.
Fantastic. I think that's very exciting and very interesting. I think though, and one thing we've seen with some of our clients, one reason that people, if your question is that they might like to buy properties as an LLC in Nigeria, I think similar to America, is that when you sell the property, you can sell the company itself. So maybe a bit simpler when it comes to the transaction. You don't need to, Remy's property is a bit different because it has the excision, but you might still have to do the new documentations and legal work of the ownership. But still, it might become a bit simpler if you're just transferring the shares of the company to the new owner. So from what we've seen as well, it's becoming a more and more popular solution in Lagos, especially for investors. I think that's a great question.
And if I may come in very quickly, and like in the US, it saves you a ton of money, the solution that Daniel just brought. So if you're an investor, you're not buying to own, you're doing it as an investment. Like I said, with Shalom Park Estate, if you come in early, you're buying at a discount. So if you bought, let's say, a apartment complex, bedroom condo, some people are buying two. So if you bought two of those at 38 million each, let's say it came to 40 million each, that's 80 million. And you bought it in the name of a corporation. And all the paperwork is done. The title, the documents are in the name of the corporation. When your new buyer is buying, if you know your intention is to flip it once the estate has matured and you are now able to sell for, let's say, 70 million, all you do is sell the corporation. And if you sell the shares of that corporation to somebody else, They don't have to go back and do all the paperwork to change the title of the property from A to B. And that's very expensive in itself. But again, I always say those kind of solutions are for people that know that they are serial entrepreneurs, people that are into the business. They are in the business of real estate, or they want to do it as an investment. If not, just buy it, in your name, and make sure you get a lawyer and make sure you do it the right way, and everything will work out well. I just want to mention something real quick. There was a question again about the freehold and leasehold issue. What I'm saying is that all the land in Nigeria was vested through the Land Use Act in the state governors. That's the law of Nigeria. And then that land, the governor has to issue a governor's consent when you buy land. But when there were issues with that, the government now does what they call excision. That excision means that they carve out that land out of the land that is vested in the governor, and they give it back to the original landowners. So if your land is under excision and you have got that, you do a deed of assignment. That deed of assignment is what now goes back to the governor's office for what we call a governor's consent. Once you get that governor's consent, that land is owned by the person that has the deed of assignment with the governor's consent, is owned by them freehold. The governor's, not governor's consent, with the governor's consent, but with the C of O, which is a certificate of occupancy, you have to let your lawyer explain the terms of your certificate of occupancy. I'm repeating it again. A lot of people in Nigeria don't know what a certificate of occupancy means. They've never read it. Somebody got a certificate of occupancy that's 99 years, and that was 70 years ago. That means that there's only 29 years remaining on that consent, on that certificate that the governor has given to you to use the land. That doesn't mean they're going to demolish your house. That just means you should be aware that after 29 years, you may have to go back and have them reestablish the governor's, give you a new term for another 99 years. And of course, you would have to pay for it. And so that was just to answer a question that was in there. But now I'm ready to answer questions specifically about Shalom, so that I can, tell you what we're doing and whatever you want us, whatever questions people may have.
Yeah, so I think we're coming towards the end of the webinar. So please, if there's any further questions, add them to the chat. And I see a couple coming in. So I think Shalom is a privately owned company, correct, Remy? Maybe an IPO on the NYSE coming in a few years.
I'm saying amen. I'm saying amen to that. Is Shalom publicly traded? I wish we were. I'll be. That means I'll be a millionaire. But if you want to buy shares, maybe you should talk to Daniel, and we'll talk about it later. But no, yes, Shalom privately is a private company. But let me just tell you quickly what we have.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yes, we have 5-bedroom houses that are fully detached. The special thing about Shalom is that all our lands are on 648 square meters. Again, when people call me, we've done many calls with people, they say, oh, but how come your land is expensive or your houses are expensive? No, they're not. Let's compare apples to apples. If somebody is selling you a 300 square feet land with a house on it, you can't compare that to someone selling you a 648 square meter land with a house on it. The minimum size of the land in Shalom is 648 square meters. So if you're going to call us after this call and compare us to some land somebody's selling in Akowojo or somewhere, you have to ask that person, what is the size of your land? Our land is in a gated community. Shalom Park Estate is 10 acres and it is completely fenced round. So Omonile and all these issues, we've taken care of all that. Our land has full documentation. We have our governor's consent, we have our layout approval, and we have started construction on our land. We have a well laid out plan. We have section for single family houses, for twin duplexes, and for apartment complexes. Right now, we are selling 2-bedroom, beautiful condos. These are apartments, just exquisite. It's international standard. and we're selling them off plan for about 38 million naira. I guarantee you that if we have a webinar this time next year, those 2 bedrooms will be at the very least 50% more than what we're offering them for now. I guarantee you that there's no way that you will buy those 2 bedrooms that we're offering now at about 38 million for less than 68 million naira. That's number one. Number two, we have 4-bedroom houses for sale. These are semi-detached. That's the house you saw in the video. Those houses are going for, I think, about 80 million naira now. But again, the same caveat, in 6 months to 1 year, those houses will be 120 million naira. I'm not marketing, I'm telling you a fact. Number 3, we have 5-bedroom semi-detached houses. Those 5-bedroom houses have 4-bedroom internally, and they have 1 bedroom that is going to be used as a domestic staff room, and that room is en suite. All our rooms are en suite. All our houses are built with pile foundations. We do a soil test. Please listen to me carefully. Whether or not you buy from Shalom, you must examine what type of houses you are buying. A lot of people are buying houses that are built with raft foundation in the Lekki Ekpe axis, where they need to pile their houses. And in another 10 to 15 years, these houses will collapse or these houses will sink. It is not a factor of religion. It's a factor of, if you don't pile to build a house that you need to pile for, that house is going down. So when somebody comes to me and says, why am I selling a 4-bedroom house for 80 million when there's somebody else selling it for 50 or 30 million? It's probably because that property is smaller, is not well built as we have built, and it's probably on a shaky foundation. So we don't build cheap, we make it affordable. And that's the bottom line of Shalom. Integrity, discipline, and doing the right thing. We're not interested in huge profits, but we are not in this development to make a loss. And so if you're interested, reach out to Cecil Global, and then they will reach out to us, and we will give you the best. We'll always tell you the truth, and we're not crazy about you buying from us. We're more interested in educating you and letting you not lose the money that you worked hard for. I worked at McDonald's. I worked as a security guard. I worked, then I did my bar exam pass. I worked as a lawyer. And by the grace of God now, I pastor a church. And so I know the grind when you live in diaspora. I know the hard work. And don't waste your money. You don't have to buy from us, but don't burn your money and don't burn your funds. Get with Cecil Global. Get with well-tested people, do your due diligence. They've done it for you, and you won't regret it. God bless you all.
Thanks so much, Remy. And thank you. And I think, really great opportunity. So please reach out. I put the Cecil link for those who don't have it in the chat. We'll also be reaching out to attendees. There was a great question about REITs and investment opportunities. Idris, I would love to speak to you directly, and we can organize a session after this. Cecil is available for consultations. There's no charge for any clients for any consultation or any additional support you need in the buying process. And I think we're now running a bit over, which is great. And so I thank everyone for staying on. And if there's any final questions, ask it into the group. But generally what we like to do at Cecil as we end at webinars is to go to each of our webinar panelists, and everyone end it with, why are you optimistic about real estate in New Lagos, and why are you optimistic, and why is now a good time to invest? So maybe I'll just start on for the group as well. And I think for myself and for Cecil as a whole, what excites us, very heavily is the news story of the diaspora, coming back to the continent. Also, we're seeing what's happening in Ghana with the year of return and Black Americans relocating. I've seen similar things in Nigeria as well. So there's a huge aspect of people wanting to come to the continent. The tech industry is booming right now, bringing more people with more opportunities to come and be based, in Ghana and Nigeria, to get involved in what's going on in the tech sector, in the real estate sector. So really, it's really exciting, both in why I'm excited, I'd say, about New Lagos is that, as Remy said, it's a new area that's going to be growing at an amazingly fast rate. There's the refinery, and we've even, for those who haven't seen it, there's even a new project called Talent City being run by the founder of Indela and Flutterwave, which is going to be an entire tech hub, multi-million-dollar tech hub being built out in this new Lagos. So we say now is the time to buy because the city is growing, the opportunities are growing, and the industries are growing. We have the refinery, we have tech, and things are only moving. So we say it's a great time, and we're excited. Remy?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, and why the new Lagos? I would say this, and I believe this with all my heart. Who is they? And that's what I always ask people. Who are they? Everybody keeps saying they should make Lagos better. They should make Nigeria better. Nobody is coming to Nigeria to make Nigeria better. We, the Nigerian people, are the ones that have to go to Nigeria. We have to invest in Nigeria. We have to believe in Nigeria. We have to pray for Nigeria. We have to put our money where our mouth is. Like Daniel said, Flutterware and Dala, all these people, these are Nigerians that with their innovation went back to Nigeria. Whether you love or loathe Dangote, he's a Nigerian. He could have built a $19 billion refinery in Ghana or in Port Harcourt or anywhere. He built it in Lagos. And he has invested his money, his time in Lagos. And so we have to key in, not to the bad news, but to the good news. There's a fourth mainland bridge that is coming. People are going to say, oh, it's never going to come. It is going to come because I've seen the master plan and they are actively working on it. There are so many things. There's a Lekki deep sea port. It is coming. They've started working on it. A co-Atlantic city is in Nigeria. It is happening. It's going to happen. Nobody, no Nigerian went to build Dubai. The people in Dubai made up their mind to invest. So I just want to encourage those in diaspora. Don't badmouth Nigeria. Stop complaining about Nigeria. It's either you go in to Nigeria and put in your own bit. We went to Nigeria. There were no roads. We built the roads. We built the drainage. We brought the power. We fought the Omoniles. We fought everybody. We liaised with government. We fought them when they wanted us to pay taxes while we are not even resident there and we pay taxes abroad. We engaged the government. We worked with the government. We invested our money. We borrowed money from abroad. We borrowed money from, and we kept doing and doing and doing. And that is why we are where we are today. And we are not even there yet. So I'm not interested in the people that will call us to complain. I'm interested in the people that will call us to find a way. How do I get in? And if you don't get in now, if you don't get in the new Lagos, you will regret it. If Chinese people are coming to Nigeria, if Lebanese people are coming to Nigeria, if Indians are coming to Nigeria, it's because there's something in Nigeria that Nigerians don't see. And I see it, and we're going to continue to work in Nigeria, and God will help us. God bless you, and thank you again for joining this webinar.
That's great. Thanks so much, Remy, and it's a total truth. And Emmanuel, the final words of why are you excited about Nigeria and the new Lagos, and why is now the time to invest? Is that for closing words for the audience?
All right. Thank you, Daniel, and fellow panelists over there. So the new Lagos promises to be great. For me, I see Lagos that is of Miami. So this Lagos with the recent developments in the legal frameworks and all that, with so much bottlenecks removed by the government, the development of Lagos, and then with the influx of the wider populations into Lagos, the opportunities are really wide. And then, of course, legal practitioners like us over here are doing much to ensure that all other bottlenecks that are going to prevent investors from coming in are removed. For instance, we have on our table currently a law we are proposing before the National for decentralization of registration systems. So the goal of this law now is to ensure that for estates like we have within the Eco-Atlantic and within the Chevron area and within Lagos here, we are trying to ensure that in the nearest future we have a situation whereby individuals are able to register their properties without necessarily going to the government, such that in each state we have your records of properties, records of owners, so that there is no limitation on anybody's part. Anyone can now come in and register without impediments, without hindrances of any sort. So the future is really bright. It's a bright one for Lagos State, and I see it going. I see Lagos going in the nature of Miami, New York within the next few years. So the prospects are high, very high.
Fantastic. And I see some people, future, I'm going to leave my email, my WhatsApp, and Remy as well. You can drop the email, but if you get in touch with us, you let us know your availability. We'll organize a session with Remy as well. And so can let us know what you need and how we can help. And thanks so much for that, Emmanuel. So I think that I agree. That was kind of a bit of a combination that not only is it, amazing time, I think investment wise with people coming in, legally speaking, the government is doing the most as well to support the rise of this area with the right framework behind it. So yeah, we're a bit over. So I thank everyone for staying on an extra 10 minutes, and we appreciate all of your feedback. And for those who have reached out, my email is there, and you can go to our site, sesso.global, to book an inquiry. You'll see Remy's properties right on top when you go onto the website. But we'll be sending out the recording right after this, so give us just a little time to process that. So firstly, I thank all of the attendees, and thank you so much, Olu, Remy, and Emmanuel. It was a really pleasure having you on for this webinar. And for all of you on today, we look forward to your feedback and speaking with you and welcoming you to Shalom Park Estate in the near future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.